we talked mainly about the afterlife, and we touched on belief and stuff like that in the first part. This is a more broad thing about other beliefs that don't relate to what happened after you die. I just want to reference this.
Yeah, you're not going to mention the fact that you're wearing pink.
I'm metrosexual, Ali. My ex-wife got me this. It's called an Udi, and she said to me, she's like, "Oh, the rest of us, me and the 2 kids have got one, so we thought we'd get you one so you match." And I looked and I was like, "His is grey, his is blue, yours is light blue." She's like, "Yes, but when I was choosing the colour, Jack agreed that Jack said that would be the best one." I was like, "When the fuck did we start listening to him?" Yeah, it's very comfy though.
And it is also pink.
It's pink as well.
I wear it constantly. Not right now.
Who bought you yours?
I bought mine myself.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. What?
Family, yeah? You're the odd one out. Where's your pink Udi, Ali?
We already knew that.
I'll get you one for your 50th. When is it next year? Let's go. I love you. So, let's talk more about belief. Where are we gonna start with this? We'll start.
I just want to point something out while you're busy ripping the piss out of me non-stop. Your nephew's a Buddhist.
Yeah.
You're a Buddhist?
Yeah, a lapsed Buddhist, but...
He's a Buddhist.
Yeah.
Okay, define what you mean by Buddhist, and then define lapsed Buddhist.
Well, so... Buddhism is a sort of... a philosophy of a religion. It's about... living in a way that brings you good karma, and the better your karma, the better your reincarnation, blah blah blah, with the ultimate goal of Buddhism being that you
become a god.
You don't get reborn again. Is the idea of Buddhism. Yeah, it's the sort of the core tenet is if you're really really good, you don't have to do this again.
So what happens? You just die.
You become a god, basically. You ascend.
So you become a god.
You ascend.
Yeah, it's not so much a god because you're not really you don't have influence on things, but it's like you ascend.
Your energy never returns back to this plane.
That sort of thing.
And
I lose it there. I don't think I'm.
I didn't like
enough.
the idea of that.
Yeah.
You just become like an intergalactic pinball. What do you explain?
No, you join the collective energy, which is what the whole point. That's what all souls are connected. We are all a collective energy, born on this earth. But if you're good enough, according to Buddhists, you go to the other plane and you stay there. You don't have to come back down.
What do you do there?
Suffer as a human.
Or a sparrow.
You're thinking of it with a human mind. It's not. You're not grasping what energy is. You think
become
it as a
foolish
human.
mortal.
You become like the Borg, or what is
No,
it? Or you like
the whole point is that you can't try to understand it, because if you try to understand it, you're a fool.
Well, you're trying to understand.
No, I don't try to understand it. I accept it. I accept that that's how it is. And
what do you mean you accept that? So based on what evidence?
Based on you can't throw that though. You can't say based on what evidence.
No.
Based on ancient evidence, quite frankly, based on ancient evidence before
But
we could
ancient
read it
evidence
right.
is still evidence.
Yeah.
So what is the evidence?
What the ancient people said.
Oh, those people that used
The
to
emerald
think,
tablets.
right. So the people that used to like measure your skull and think that by the shape of it they could tell if you were going to be a sex criminal or a poet. The people
Maybe
that
they were
thought,
right. No, the people that charted the stars without any super equipment to do so. The people that knew where everything was in the universe without having a telescope. The people who
do you know how they did
built
that?
pyramids.
They didn't have any TV.
True enough.
No YouTube.
Do you want to build the pyramids? No, Desperate Housewives has just thought that they had fuck all else to do.
Right.
No, they
didn't even know about football.
They knew more than we will ever know. They knew more than
because
we
they
will
were
ever
more.
know.
I concede.
They weren't
separate from any evidence of the afterlife.
I don't know. I know a lot of things. I think they only knew they knew a lot about very specific things. But
yeah.
I've spent a lot of time Googling stuff and reading Wikipedia. I think I know probably more than they knew.
No,
in a lifetime, in 10 minutes.
They definitely knew.
Definitely.
Yeah. What pyramids have you fucking built?
Yeah, Alan.
I built on Minecraft, actually. It took a long time. I built a dome under the water.
When was the last time you fashioned equipment
Yeah, it was
to
hard.
observe the stars from nothing but pieces of wood? They built pyramids and they didn't even have fucking steel.
Yeah, what was it? I think it was in Red Dwarf, actually, that well-known philosophical show.
Right.
That what was it? Rimmer said to Lister, "Well, explain the pyramids then. How did they do the pyramids?" And Lister said, "They had whips, Rimmer, massive whips." And
Yeah, but no.
that's funny. I'm not saying that's
When
a
you
point.
rely on science, when science looks at how the pyramids were made, I can't even remember how many people they said it would take to move one block, if it is the way that history says it is. And there's no way that you could have fitted them and made them do what they did. They didn't.
So how did they do it?
Well, nobody knows. It's a mystery, and we'll probably never find out because they're all dead.
I think
I'm
if
fairly
you-
sure they are.
If you probably spoke to an Egyptologist or someone, or a geologist, or someone that's dedicated their life to that, I'm sure they'd have an answer. I can whip
They
it
don't.
up
They have
just
a
now.
lot of answers. There is no answer as to how the pyramids were built.
Yeah, it's
So what was it?
history, so it's-
Aliens?
Well, no. Some people say it was. Some people say that.
What do other people say?
Some people say that they were built by whips. By 76,000 people pulling one block, because some of those blocks weigh, and I don't know the number, but some of those bricks weigh an awful lot.
It used to be
and
that
some
it was
people say that-
slaves were the thing it said, but now
Yeah.
they're saying
And now they
it's
say
actually
it couldn't. They've
trained
done the maths, and they've said.
stonemasons, and they
There's-
had villages around the pyramids where they lived, and
But they've still proven that couldn't be possible because there wasn't enough people. They couldn't fit enough people.
But
And
wait.
another train of thought is that it was actually concrete, that they built moulds and they built them up brick by brick, and that over the thousands and thousands of years that's turned to granite. But then they disproved that as well. The spaces between these bricks, you can't get a piece of paper through. You can't do that today with the equipment we've got. It's impossible. You can't do it.
I wonder if there's going to be some sort of giant flood or like an asteroid strike that causes giant tsunamis in like 5,000 years. There's going to be people standing outside my old council house going, "How did they do it?" No, I mean, how did they do it? I mean, it's almost impossible. The technology needed
Nah,
to
I
build
can
this.
pretty much fucking guarantee nothing in our generation is going to make them go, "Wow, that was amazing." These people were so no, there's not one.
I mean, not just
No.
one house. There's 6 people who have lived in this block. How did
And
they do
records
it?
show they built this estate in a matter of weeks. In a matter of fucking weeks. It's amazing.
The council will still be around,
Uh,
and they
yeah.
still won't have finished doing everyone's
Would
kitchen.
electrocuted themselves on the light switches, but they did build them very quickly. Very quickly. Fuck you, council.
Yeah, fuck you!
Fuck you, council.
You're coming back as fucking cockroaches.
With mosquitoes with tiny harps.
Indeed.
the Egyptians had the benefit of not having to worry about all the red tape. And all they didn't have unions back then. So
No,
it's-
No,
so
you
did the
didn't.
fucking Spanish, but they don't. They don't build pyramids.
Yeah, that's some. Well, you're right, I like that. No unions.
So did the Spanish, but.
Yeah, a couple of the guys we've got together, we're going to form. We don't think the working conditions are very good. We're going to form a union. Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. I'll get back to work. No tea break. Brilliant. Excellent. What a great decision. So, we are very similar.
Very similar. We have the same sense of humour.
Yes.
All three of us share a really fucked up sense of humour.
As you can probably tell.
Oh,
But we're very similar, but we're also very different in some of the things the ultimate conclusions we come to about existence, especially.
polar opposites.
Polar opposites.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. And you asked me, because I had right, you can probably tell from looking at a small sample of these videos that I am, I would consider myself open-minded, but I'm very, anti-religious, respectful to people. I'm not going, okay, I have in the past, but broadly I'm not going to attack
It's your
it.
opinion, you're entitled to it, but you're fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Broadly, yeah.
Yeah, summed up. Anti-religious. I'm not a supernatural person. I prefer science, not just science, just like good old-fashioned doubt and asking questions. I'll never stop asking questions. It gets me into trouble a lot. I think there's a psychological frame of mind called sadder but wiser, and I think that, I mean, there's certain things that I wish I could switch off my brain and just be like, "Oh, yeah, time to go to the Santa. Santa's great. Oh, you got heaven when you die." I'm envious of people that can do that, but I don't believe things as a knee-jerk reaction to the rest of the herd, although sometimes I've got a bit of devilment in me, I'll admit it. I do like to zig when others zag, but the things I believe are a consequence of thinking very long and hard and torturously about it, and I couldn't believe in anything else even if I wanted to. It's as a consequence of my mind working things to a conclusion, so I'm not doing it I dare to be different or to be a prick, although I do concede that those things are conveyed to people sometimes. But the reason I can't.
It's not burning.
You having a stroke live on camera? Remember the question of what happens when you die? We're about to find out. Do tell us. Will you make the lights flicker just after you die?
Get the fairy lights.
Is there a hell? Once for yes, twice for no. Make the couch go on fire. That'll settle it once and for all. Please don't die. Please don't die.
Okay,
Please.
I'll try.
Yeah, it'd be incredibly dramatic for me.
Yeah, it would be.
I wouldn't want that for you.
No.
I'll try very hard.
To be honest, we've got a video. We would leave you on the floor. We would try and do CPR. If it didn't work, we'd be like, Alan, we've got a public out there.
The show must
and they
go
need
on.
us. The show must go on.
The show must go on.
And then I'd be like, there isn't an afterlife for a soul, is there, Alison? And I'd pick up your corpse and be like, no, Jamie. See?
Weekend at Jamie's.
Weekend at Jamie's. Fucking yes.
I'll give you a high five for that. That's good.
I'll take it.
So I have an ex that believed in. Is that the red light still on? Right. It's because I'm short-sighted.
Aye. Yeah.
I had an ex that believed in the healing power of crystals and tarot and all sorts of like messages from beyond the grave and stuff like that. And whereas you have believed things like that, and I've given you
shit for years.
I've given other people shit for years. In the past,
You've given me more shit than anyone else over years.
Yeah, that's because I love you. But I remember my ex-wife had an auntie who was still into crystals, and sometimes we get little bags of them. And I'd be like, no, I liked an auntie, but I'd be like, oh, we're going to hang these on the edge of the bed. Yeah, because they really worked for your fucking auntie. Like she was going through, it seemed to me that people that were going through a really tough time clung to these things, and they didn't show any evidence of actually improving the quality of life. They were just like, but anyway, so I met this girl, and she was honest about these things, but the way that she described the origin of these beliefs, and I said this to her, and I believe it, I meant it. You know the episode of Frasier where it's one of the ones where Niles and Daphne have got together after years of will they, won't they, and Daphne's always believed she was psychic. I'm a little bit psychic. Remember Frasier?
Just South African.
and her uncle was from Pakistan. Yes.
Right.
Okay, that wasn't a very good
Right
impression, but she believed she had psychic powers, and Niles was a psychiatrist, so sort of believes in evidence and science. And he got annoyed with the constant kind of, and he said, well, let's prove this. Let's get you a test from like a scientist or a parapsychologist, and we'll get an answer on whether you are psychic or not. And the guy had done the test. The results were just coming out, and Niles was talking to Daphne, and said she was the only girl in a family of boys. And they all got the preferential attention and the treatment. She sort of felt apart from them, but her gran said she was psychic, and there was a bond because her gran said that she had the gift. It was the only thing in her life when she was young that made her feel different and special. So Niles was like, the results were there, and he's like, I don't want to know, because he's like, I love this work. I didn't realise how intrinsic this was to her personality. Didn't want to ruin it for her. And I felt exactly the same with her. Because it came, I suspect a lot of religious people and a lot of beliefs like that come from a less than honest place, and it's trying to beat people over the head with it, and it's but it came from a really lovely, pure place. And because I went kind of head over heels for this girl, and yeah, it was lovely. It was part of her inner light, and I was like, it's not like she would go away and I'd be like, oh fuck, all over the fucking shit, the crystals and that. It actually, for a while, turned off.
For a few months,
it turned off.
you were
that
listening
part.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a few months I was saying, and you were saying, oh, you know, not what I believe in, but I can see where.
I even met a Christian preacher in the street with my kids throughout that time, and gave him an easy ride of it. I actually was like, I kind of. He was telling me I used to my friend. I used to be into drugs. I used to be into drink. I used to be into pornography, and I was like, sounds pretty good. But he was, and I debated with him. I gave him I threw him some curveballs, and we had a hard conversation. I was like, look, mate, you're not going to change my mind. I'm not going to change yours. But I wish you all the best. You seem like a nice guy, and it was really civil. And I thought, oh my God, I've grown, I've changed, and it was a relief to turn off that little part of me that was like, yeah, but that's fucking bullshit. Fuck
You're
you.
wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, which just it was nice, and I genuinely felt all those things, and I think the reason that I've always gone tougher on you is because we're so similar. Your brain works in exactly the same way that mine does. We've had, although we're 8 years apart, you're a woman, I'm a man, you're a lesbian, I'm straight.
I'm gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm the funniest.
No. Oh no, you didn't.
After a bottle of Buckfast, because our brain works in an achingly similar way, the way that it sort of never switches off, it's always computing and analysing.
Questioning, asking.
Sometimes to the detriment, sometimes to the point of self-destruction. Sometimes you're like, I'm happy, and your voice goes, I think I'm happy, what about this? Shut up, fuck off, go away for once.
Literally.
But it won't. So I think I judge you more harshly because I'm like, you've got the same brain as me. How can we get the same input broadly, and I've come to this conclusion, you come to that? That's why I judge you harshly. And it's nothing to do with intelligence. I'm not saying that people that believe these things are, you get some people that are cleverer than me that believe in stuff like this. Not many. But yeah, that's why I give you a harder time, because I think we've got the same brain. How the fuck can this go in? And I'm like, the truth, and you're like, oh fucking,
I think the same thing though. I think we have the same brain, same input, basically the same life. Our lives have mirrored each other quite dramatically. How does Jamie not know the truth and I do?
The truth. Right, you get to have the decider.
Oh, the power.
Yeah.
I'd like to also preface with the story that I've had with a preacher stopped me in the street. I was on the way on lunch at uni, and he stopped me. And he was trying to sell Christian rock CDs, and I said no, thank you, I'm okay, sort of thing. And he tried to start a conversation. And he was like, "Do you live here?" And I was like, "No, sort of nearby." And he was like, "Oh, like on the street?" Is what he meant by "Do you live here?"
Was it a beard?
I think it might have been. Yeah, so I'm not really keen on them either, to be honest.
Cheeky bastards.
It's a bit rude. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. No, that is funny.
I don't know. I don't. For a long time, I was very sort of.
This is really warm. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Only fans right
£10 the t-shirt comes off.
Oof, my hairy tits out.
I'm not doing that. I don't care how many 10 pences you put in. I'm not doing that.
For a long time, I was a really angry atheist. I was like angry and just constantly arguing with Christians and all sorts of people on the internet and calling them absolute. How are you this stupid that you believe a book? And then I don't know. I sort of grew towards agnosticism because I was like, actually, I don't know anything. I know that I think that's stupid, but that's just because it's what I think. It's not what they think, and they obviously have had some kind of experiences. Maybe it's an underlying schizophrenia. Maybe it's genuine things that have happened to them. You never know. So I sort of stepped back and sort of went, there's dimensions on dimensions.
Maybe you became an atheist that had respect on a human, that gained respect, and the fact that you're not going to change these people's minds. So, and even if you have a chance to, the best way to do that is through patience and kindness. Because, I mean, do you still
make their own mistakes?
You can be I think you can have a spiritual belief in what you were talking about, the
Yeah.
oneness of the universe, without. I mean, there is no evidence for God, and just because there's no evidence that there isn't a god isn't the same, doesn't cancel each other out. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't
Yeah.
be like, I don't know.
A lack of evidence isn't a lack of existence, and that's
Yeah.
sort of that you can't prove a negative as well. It's a very sort of core foundation. You know, you can't prove that something doesn't exist. You can only prove that it does exist. Otherwise, it's
But just because you
question.
can't prove it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
This goes into
Yeah.
fly and spaghetti monster territory. The thought experiment of you
yeah.
could say there's a fly,
Cosmic
you know,
teapot.
Yeah.
cosmic teapot, all that kind of thing.
What's
Do
the
you know
one?
what I mean?
Schneider's cat.
Schrodinger's
Schrodinger's
cat.
cat.
Yeah.
Schneider's cat.
Did you say Schneider's cat?
I don't know what the fucking cat's called. I know what the cat's called.
Terry's cat!
His name was Jeffrey. But
Jeffrey.
I don't know his name.
That's right. Yeah.
Aye.